What up, TikTok? Hey, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hey, don't let anything that's negative in your life dictate the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Hey, we all go through some hard times. We all go through some emotional stressors, maybe at work, maybe at home, whatever it may be. Don't let that dictate who you are and how you react to the rest of the things that life throws at you. Does that make sense? Like if you're feeling pissed off and angry all morning or all day, you're going to take that energy and you're going to present it to everybody else that surrounds you, your loved ones, your soldiers, whoever it may be. You're going to use that negative energy and it's just going to make everything worse. Try to be positive. Pick something positive in life that's going really well. Use that positive energy and let that dictate the rest of your day. We can harp on the negatives. We can harp on the bad things that are going on in life. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward. Stay strong, keep pushing, drive on. Happy Friday.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Hitting you up this morning with a special promo on how to dress when you're doing PT in civilians, but you want everybody to know you're an Army. This comes from the Buddy Beckwith fashion design of how to work out. So first, you can notice the RI panties. Not Ranger panties, but Ranger Instructor panties. The green socks, the knee brace for the old guys. Don't forget the M frames. Now the shirt, don't wear the Trash Talk shirt while you're running. This is just for the promo. You want to put on like an 80-second shirt or like your favorite airborne shirt so everybody knows that you're a veteran. That's the most important thing. And you start with this stretch. Buddy Beckwith taught me this one. Ready to go.
So, I'm walking out of the gas station and my co-worker, who's an old MP, but we still claim him, and he has engaged the man in conversation. Not much for conversation with strangers, but he's got the tab. So, as I walk by, I say airborne, and the man responds with, and I quote, "Hoorah." So, after I instructed my co-worker to slash every single tire before he put the car in gear, I looked for the biggest rock. As I crow hop to throw it through his back window so he can stop posing as one of us, I actually wake up and realize that the man's ignorance had incapacitated me for a moment, and I was daydreaming. I mean, because in that moment you got two options. I chose the third option and said, "Incorrect. That's an incorrect response." And I kept walking. The man said nothing and he pulled away. So you tell me, what is it, a stolen valor thing? No Marine's gonna have an airborne tab, and no paratrooper's gonna say getting hoorah. So you tell me, stolen valor?
Hey, y'all, going to work. I left you a note on the refrigerator. I love y'all. I'm gonna go.
Hey, go get dressed. Get ready for school.
You're doing great. I was tooling around, tooling along. Shit! Bad guys! Stop!
Let me break it down Barney style.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, Joe, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
Today's show is brought to you by the Farkas Group at the Veterans Mortgage Source. Are you looking for a team you can trust for your mortgage needs? The Farkas Group is our trusted partner on the podcast. I serve with Zach, and he will definitely give you the best rate possible. Their goal is to educate veterans across the country on their earned VA home loan benefit. If you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, reach out to these guys for competitive rates or any information you may need on obtaining a VA mortgage for your property. They are licensed in multiple states. If they are not licensed in the state that you live in, they will still give you the advice that you need and the rates you should be looking for.
What is going on, Gruntworks community and veteran trash talk? Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 73 of the Trash Talk Hour. Shout out to our sponsors, Zach Farkas with the Veterans Mortgage Source. You can check him out at Zach Farkas at bmsloans.com. And my favorite and Buddy's favorite, I don't know if he's drinking the cordial today, 10th Mountain Whiskey. Check them out at 10thwhiskey.com. Type in VTT and get a discount. Our guest today no-showed us, so I think Nick's going to have something to say about that. And
Yeah, a little later.
I'm joined by Nick, Joe, and Buddy. Over to you, Buddy.
It's not over to me, genius.
Oh,
You should have
I
put the,
didn't read the script
It's over to
again.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
I wanted to, yeah,
Just like you did. Just like
I
you
wanted
did
to get
court
back into the
transcript.
Kyle Rittenhouse shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, we can do that. Yeah,
I thought you had to feed the baby, Joe. I thought you had to feed the baby. Yeah.
How's
Don't make us
how's
excuses.
everybody's week been?
Good.
Just solid.
Yeah.
Your week,
Solid news. Fantastic.
It's
But,
odd that you've been on stream for the last 30 minutes, and you just now asked how our week was. Thanks. I'm glad that you
Well,
care so much.
you guys were
He
you guys
only
were
does
flood-
it for he only does it so he looks good to the audience.
Are you doing it for
you guys were
Yeah.
flooding you were flooding my ear space with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, so I didn't think it was a good time to interrupt.
Kyle?
It
Who?
started to get
Never heard
quite
of him.
started to get quite spirited.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We were all getting triggered.
Absolutely.
Well, not all of us. I was not.
No, I wasn't either, just Nick.
You were.
Yeah.
You definitely were. That's not true. Joe.
So I got this
So-
motivational speech that I've listened to a couple times, and I never really was into it when I was younger, all the rah-rah stuff. But this one, it's just the way the guy delivers it, and I'll never be able to do it the same way because he's really loud and he's got a really thick accent that sounds almost African, but it's what the guy says, and the way he talks about it, it really does relate. And there's a couple of veterans that I talk to pretty much on a weekly basis that are going through some shit. And, they just check in. And I can relate to that feeling where you feel down, you feel like you don't have another rope to cling to. So, when I talk to them, I try to give them the best, the most positive stuff I can because I've been there. What this guy delivers, he delivers a speech about attitude and the lion mentality. Have you guys ever heard of that? It's usually motivational speaking.
I would tell you that I have, but I'd be lying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have not, but apparently we're about to hear about it.
I am the
Yeah.
lion.
Right. Well, it actually applies. It's all relative. No. So what he says is he talks about your attitude towards life. He said, and I'm just going to deliver it how I read it because there's no way I could be that loud. It says attitude is what you think, what you do, and what you feel about yourself. Attitude in life is everything. Guess why? Whether you rise or fall, everything is based on the attitude that you show them in that moment. Your attitude determines your altitude. Listen carefully. I've been through tough times. I've experienced it, and I want you to know that it wasn't money that got me to where I am today. It was my attitude towards life. It was my attitude to keep going when the going gets tough. That is the lion mentality that I'm talking about. The question is, what is your attitude towards life? What do you think of yourself as I'm talking to you now? Do you think of yourself as how God thinks of you? Or do you think of yourself as how friends and families view you? You need the lion attitude, the attitude that says, I can. You need the attitude that says, I will, because I'm bold enough to fight. You need the lion attitude if you're standing in for greatness, because real lions are starving when the time comes for their mission. That doesn't stop them. They are leaders. Become a lion. Be fearless. Don't talk. walk the talk. Lions demonstrate who they are. A lion does not seek respect. They command respect and authority because they know they should be respected. Be a lion. A sheep follows the leader. A lion leads. It's about having the courage to stand and fight for your life. Having the strength to go in your own direction, even if no one believes in you. Follow your heart. Only you know what is the best path to take. You have the heart of a lion inside of you. Let it out. Don't fit in. Stand out and use your gifts. That's it.
I feel like I wish I could
no,
roar like a lion right now, but I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
It's honestly, a lot of it sounds like heard that before, but it's the way the dude delivers it, man. He's almost screaming into the mic, and he's got this really thick accent. It's you can tell he's been through some shit. I think he went through like the Blood Diamond. Have you guys seen that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he went through something similar like that when his family was taken. I wish I could remember, but it was kind of pieced in with another speech, and that part always stuck out to me. But anyhow, boys,
yeah,
do we want to talk about what was in court, or want to go over to Buddy?
We're going to Buddy.
You know what?
Well, let's go to Buddy.
My honesty cap will probably feed in a little bit to the Kyle Rittenhouse thing anyway.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's just some.
What happened?
Buddy, should you start off with you don't like pedophiles just because of a stash?
What
It's
happened?
been brought up on multiple shows now. Like, Buddy,
what happened?
let's
What
get
happened?
that out of the way first.
A disclaimer that
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm nowhere near Kyle Rittenhouse because I would probably get shot.
Yeah.
Just because of the stash, and I'd be like, no, wrong guy. It's just a statement. Anyway. No. So my honesty cap has or my little bit anyway is like I've been thinking about it a lot lately. It's been kind of bothering me, and there's two things. Thing number one is that it's okay to have boundaries, and it's okay to let people know what your boundaries are, but it's not okay to force your boundaries on other people. If you're not okay with something, then you can stand up for yourself, but you can't, in fact, force them to agree with your boundaries. You know, if somebody is saying something that you don't like, it's not their job to leave the area or leave and do whatever. You're the one that has got the boundaries, so it's your job to stand up for yourself, not to freaking let people do whatever they're going to do. Anyway, second thing, I've been going through this transition thing in the Army.
Me too.
And let me tell you, you got to go to these briefs, and the veterans that have gotten out know about these briefs. So like the finance brief and the Department of Labor brief for like what you're going to do when you get out, and financial planning for retirement, and blah blah blah. All these briefs. And what I have found is that when I was in the Army, I was not a big fan of logisticians anyway, logistics guys. But why is it that every fucking logistician, every supply guy thinks that they're going to get out and work at fucking Amazon? Boys, you're not. Different system. They're profit driven. We're not profit driven. You're not going to just jump out and be like, I was the supply guy for fucking 5 years. I can basically run this entire warehouse. You can't. It's not a thing. You have to go to school. Like, you're not going to get out of the Army and be like, yeah, I'm just going to do what I did in the Army, where I just have stuff on the shelf and I don't let people have it because then I have to re-inventory it. And I don't want to
sign out those pens.
Yeah. You're not allowed to work at Amazon and take 3 boxes and ship 4, like, for your own personal like stash of shit. It's not a thing. Calm down. Get ready to get out and get a job. Anyway, I don't know if that even moves over, but it's just not my best work. But it's
that's not your best.
You made a point. You made a point though.
Yeah.
It was delivered.
Tim Shanks says that he thought you were the guest because you look like a pedophile.
Pedophile again.
So,
look, we put the disclaimer out earlier.
Yeah, we got to find that guy.
Hold on.
Yeah, he's like, I thought
you got to address it again.
Okay, well, hold on. That almost infers that the type of guests that we have on the show are like, hey, today
that's questionable.
Our sketch.
Villain of the week is
yep.
freaking Jerry, who touches buttholes. Like, come on, we don't do that. How many pedophiles on this show? You fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
It's just a mustache.
Did you have anything important to say, buddy? Or was that it?
Well, I thought we were. I was actually trying to cut mine short so that we can just move on to.
Yeah. So we were supposed to have
fucking super liberal douchebag.
Yeah, we were supposed to have a retired Colonel Jimmy Blackmon on, and just so happens that 2 weeks in a row we've been stood up by colonels. Not really understanding why that happens, but at least we were able to. 2 of the last 3 weeks, at least we were able to get in a guest. So he said he just responded to me, Jimmy, if you're watching, you can come on. You have the link. All right, so he just responded that I thought it was at 2. Yes. Eastern time.
It's 2:30.
1400, sir. Like, hey, good thing. hey, good thing you weren't flying today because you'd be late picking us up on the ground. And
maybe we should have given. Maybe we should have given them Zulu time.
Yeah, so a lieutenant would have got here on time, especially when a bunch of master sergeants told him to
master
show up.
sergeants, 100%. Yeah, Butterbar be here.
Maybe we got with his XO and he had penciled it into his schedule. He'd have been here on time.
Yeah. Well, here, let me get to him. I'm gonna say, hey,
us enlisted scum. Officers don't want to hang out with us. Colonel.
So, anyways, I'll go to my book of Earl while we're waiting on him. Hopefully, he comes on here. Come on, we are live. Yeah, here he comes.
Well, now we can't talk shit about him.
Well, we can talk shit about him because he's right here. He's right here. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's the werewolf of London. His hair was perfect. The
one strip that's kind of going over a little bit.
That. I think that's why he's late. It probably took him a while to get that hair like that, and so he had to.
That's definitely the hair of a writer.
Yeah, his wardrobe wasn't ready.
Hey, what time zone are we in? This is a global operation, right?
Yeah, 1400.
I told you we should have
1400
Eastern
time. Who's in charge of it? Is there an NCO competent enough to do a time hack?
Yeah, that's what we said. 30 minutes prior. And then, of course, and seeing as I was a Ranger instructor, I'd have to give you a no-go.
You probably run a 5th RTB where grown men become men.
I was at 6.
Where's the tanker right now? Shouldn't we have met up with we're about to be bingo on fuel. This isn't.
Exactly. Like the Taliban's about to maneuver on us because the birds are late. All right. So, but we got.
Fortunately for you, I can land and enter the fight hand to hand, baby.
Yeah. But I'm glad he's here. So
that's going to be good.
Yeah. Let me go into my book of Earl real quick. It's not a long one. We got to talk about it on, Buddy and I do the 5th Principle Patrolling podcast. So go watch that one on our YouTube as well. We talked about why trading in a car, why do you have to pay retail price if you're trading? Because you're trading.
Still doesn't make sense, by the way.
It still doesn't make sense. But we tried to figure it out.
You do it because they say.
Here's what so those of you who don't track us on Twitter, I usually argue with Vlad Dudier from CBS Mornings, and he's a veteran, and so he actually responds, and we have a little good banter here and there. And I got triggered, so quit being a triggered pansy. I got triggered when I heard that climate change is responsible for an obesity spike. And I'm sitting here like, interesting. Let me hear this out. And then they go, because it's too hot to do exercise. No, that's not right.
What?
That's not true. Like that violates the 5th principle of patrolling. Like, you're a no-go. Like that. No, whoever came up with that sentence needs to be fired. Like, hey, what are we going to talk about today? Shit, we don't have any material. I don't know. Tell them like fucking climate change causes people to be fat. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, they'll jump all over that shit. All right. So again, I keep talking about the narrative through the book of Earl, right? Is, and like Buddy said, you have your own boundaries. All right. You have to defend your own boundaries. And then it's not anybody else's responsibility, right, to, understand what your boundaries are without you telling them. Like, that's your job. Right. And it's your job as a human being to be in shape if you're worried about your health. If you're not worried about your health, that's fine too. Like, go ahead and get fat. It's America. Right. Like, get fat as you want. Right. But again, don't tell me to do something to my body because your ass got fat. right? Like I don't care. Like I'm not going to judge you. I'm happy for you. Like, but coronavirus is going to judge you. Like, and it's going to judge you real fucking fast, you know? And like, I keep saying it because again, but it's climate change now. Oh, it's climate change.
It's got to be something new. You got to switch it up, you know?
So a line got edited out of Ranger School. This is no kidding. I mean, this couldn't have been teed up any better. A line got edited out of Ranger School that said there's nothing worse than a fat ranger. And they were really, I mean, they went on and on. They were really concerned about I'm like, the people reading this book get it, okay? But the truth was, I was with an old guy, and this dude walked by who was, you know, he had let himself go, but he was wearing a tab. And he's like, you know, you should just unstitch it and take it off. I mean, it's a commitment, right? Of I live to a higher standard. I will not let myself go. Now, there's every excuse in the book. A couple of them are valid. A couple. Thyroid ain't the answer to everything. Okay, everybody's got a thyroid problem. That really they got a double Whopper with cheese problem. But
and a Coke problem.
I know that. But you know, you look at that dude and go, you said that creed, and you said we could count on you, but yet you and I know. I'm going to tell you, I did an exercise one time. You guys make fun of aviators all day. I'm here to try and defend my cavalry.
We love aviators.
No, we love aviators.
Yeah,
they've come to save our asses multiple times.
A lot.
I took over an organization, and there was a problem there. And so I said, hey, this is pretty simple. You know, we fly in the Kiowa, we fly two in a crew. So everybody crew up with your buddy. You just crashed right here, and I put a Humvee on the other end of the runway. That right there is the first rock you can find to get behind, to get some cover. Your buddy got shot in the leg. Get him there. I tell you what, you want to come to meet Jesus meeting, realize that your ranger buddy can't get you behind a rock. He can't drag you. He can't physically. He's let himself go to the point that he can't save your life when you need him.
Right.
That's a wake up situation right there. And I think they got it very clear. I didn't need to say anything else. It was just like, hey, man, you trust the guy to your right and left.
Yeah, it's part of the woke problem, you know, that even our DOD has fallen under, to where even you watch these guys on Twitter, some of our senior leaders, that, you know, it's like, why are you even responding to that? Like, why are you even addressing that? Like all we should be concerned about is winning our nation's battles. And, you know, you watch these people scream and cry about the leg tuck. And I've talked about this before on the show. And it's like, I like, if you ask me, and people have, and I'm like, I don't want you in my squad if you can't do a leg tuck. Like, I don't care what your problem is. Like, we are in a job, like Buddy said, we're not for profit, right? We're not Amazon. Okay. I don't have to necessarily care about some things about your life. Now, as a leader, I do, right? As a leader, I try to help you. As a leader, I try to get you there. I put you in the right direction. I get you the right programs. You know, I get you to the diet people, whatever. You know, and I don't give up on you. That's different. But it's like, dude, you can't meet the standard. Like, sorry. Like I'm not going to put another 8 guys at risk because I should care that you don't like leg tucks. You don't like the fact that our Army started PRT 10 fucking years ago, and you just decided to open the manual now, right? Now that they're going to actually start testing on the manual that's been out for a decade. But hey, this guy, this bearded werewolf talking is Jimmy Blackmon. So he has his own website, naturally. It's jimmyblackmon.com. So go there and you can check out all the finer details. I don't know if Chris the baker back there has those pictures ready, but he's wrote a couple books and he does some country songs. And, you know, he was like you said, already addressed, he was a pilot. So great service. So welcome to the Trash Talk Hour. You've already got inserted into the dumpster fire. Which it is, because we really don't know what we're going to talk about every day. That's why
we never do.
Yeah, we never do.
It just happens. Yeah,
it just happens. But again, welcome to the show. So if you wouldn't mind, just for a couple minutes, just saying, you know, hey, we've already discussed that you were a pilot, but what kind of motivated you to do what you're doing now and all that kind of stuff getting out?
Yeah, so I was a Mill Village kid. My dad grew up working in the cotton mill in northern Georgia, just about 35, 40 miles from Dahlonega, straight line distance, 5th Ranger Training Battalion up there. And the only thing I ever debated in high school was which shift I was going to work. The mill was a foregone conclusion. That's just what my people did. And a recruiter knocked on our raggedy screen door in 1986 and said, "Son, how would you like to join the Army?" And my dad was drafted for the Korean War. Went off, did his tour, came back, and hung that old Eisenhower jacket. You can't wear the real waistcoat Eisenhower jacket and be fat, by the way. It's very revealing. So no, he hung that in the closet, Corporal Blackmon. And when that recruiter said, "Hey son, how would you like to join the Army?" Man, I saw myself in Corporal Blackmon. I said, "Yeah, where'd I sign?" I realized it was a way out. It was other options. And so, we went through a discussion of what do you want to do? What's your job? And then he said, "Would you like to go to college someday?" And I started laughing at him. I literally laughed at him. Master Sergeant Williams was his name. I can see that dude still today. And I said, "Man, I can't. We can't afford to go to college." And he said, "No, there's this thing called the Montgomery GI Bill, man. It'll help. Uncle Sam will help you out." I said, "Sure, sign me up." I had no idea what I didn't think he was for real. And I enlisted, and then they weren't kidding. So I wound up going to North Georgia College up there in Dahlonega, and then got commissioned in '91. Became a Cab Scout pilot, flying OH-58s, flew Hueys and then 58s, and the rest is history. I mean, only in America, man. If that ain't proof, it ain't got nothing to do with Jimmy Blackmon, but if that ain't the proof that the American dream's still alive, I don't know what is. To go from guaranteed, the most my dad ever made in a single year of his life was $16,200, and that's where I was headed. And as much overtime. I remember sitting at the lunchroom table debating with my friends. I'm like, "Hey man, only old people sleep. You don't need to sleep, right? So till you're like 40 when you're really old." And so I was like,
I'm fucked.
I like two things, right? I like chicks and I like hunting. And so I was like, I could work third shift, get off, go be in a deer stand before daylight. I could hunt in the morning, get a nap, date in the evening, and work the rest of the night. I can do that till I'm 40. I'm good to go. And that was my plan. And Master Sergeant Williams found me, and it really changed my life forever. I mean, it did.
How many years did you serve?
30.
Did you go to Ranger School as an officer or as an enlisted guy?
Yeah. I went. Went to North Georgia, went to Airborne School in '88, and then commissioned '91, went to Ranger School winter '92, '93, and then off to, as a lieutenant off to my first duty assignment.
Yeah. We've talked.
How was Rogers when Rogers was at Camp Rogers? Like, was he angry a lot? Like, did you help him write all of the?
I get it. Okay.
Always keep the hatchet clean.
Yeah.
Was your hatchet always clean? Did you have your musket like ready all the time?
Did you go back the same way you came?
Well, I don't know
if you to set up an ambush with a musket, like with an actual. Did you have like a bunch of them just lined up like powder? That also with this mustache is a really bad hand-in-arm signal for musket.
Well,
not working out well.
I'm 53 and look at it.
Yeah, you look good. You look like you were a pilot.
I retired from the Army.
Somebody who flew stuff. That's
no
what.
kidding. I retired from the Army. I hit puberty finally. Hair started growing everywhere. I was like, I didn't realize my own potential till I was retired, and
nice.
I just went with it, man. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we've talked about it before. Being Ranger instructor, and Buddy's been an instructor in some things, and you always. It is very subjective. You could say that Ranger School grading is objective, but it's not, right? Yeah. So like it's up to the RI, and the RI is like, he's got a square jaw, he can talk. The guys seem to like him. I don't really give a shit what he does today. It's like a good guy, whatever. And then there's a guy where he's just struggling, and So you go up to me and go, hey man, what rank are you? You know, I'm a captain. Oh, okay. What's your job? You know, oh, I'm a pilot. Oh, what do you fly? You know, now I'm excited because I'm talking to a pilot, you know, and I'm supposed to be grading this guy like a warfighter. But I'm like, hey, what do you fly? You know, and he's like, oh, I'm a Chinook pilot. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, and it's like, you know what I'm thinking in the back of my head? I'm like, this guy's never going to lead a patrol. You know, so it's like fuck it, let's give him a tab. You know, so it's like, is that what happened to you? Is that how you got yours? Were you kind of guided through? Because how many times did you say you were a pilot?
I didn't say I was a pilot, but I grew up in Dahlonega, Georgia, and I don't know how many guys you guys served with. Yeah, I walked.
You knew all the.
If you guys had read the book, you know what my roster number was? 007.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Hey man, we're gonna go on this patrol up here on this hill. I know where there's some good shit. We're just gonna go up there and have us a little snoop.
Yeah.
Be all right.
I know where all the berries are. So who's the guy that
food drop? I can get a food drop in Dahlonega.
Yeah, well, the regiment guys try that all the time and they get caught. So
yeah. You guys are smarter now, though. Back in the day, we did. I mean, you guys obviously haven't read the freaking book.
Well, you didn't send us.
You guys do read, right?
Is it on audio book?
Are there pictures?
Are there pictures? How many pages? I can, pictures.
He knows we can't read.
Oh shit.
We had two seals. We had two seals get caught at Eglin. We're like, I mean, we're going in the field problem, and they got their buddies to drop them. And of course, I don't know if you've been down to Florida lately, but I mean, there are lights everywhere. I mean, it's lit up. They walk out of the barracks. Our eyes are like, well, look, you know where they're going. They just followed them down. They grabbed their chow. They're like, you're out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
And then what?
Are you trying to say that SEALs had a bad plan that met with mission failure?
I don't know.
And then Rangers helped them out.
Every single one of them killed Osama bin Laden. That's all I'm saying. It was easy to write a book about Ranger School because there aren't many written.
Oh,
yeah. All of them killed Osama bin Laden in a raid that the 82nd could have done, and probably not left a couple classified helicopters behind.
Yeah,
they probably would have had a vehicle recovery
Army
plan.
guys were flying the helicopters. I will.
Oh yeah,
on that.
Yeah.
There were other units part of that mission too, but we don't talk about those other units.
Yeah,
it's just SEALs. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you want the glory, you get everything that comes with it.
Yeah, I like the pilots. You know, we were golfing at Pinehurst one time for the Veterans Day deal that they have. Yeah, well, it's like a $400 round on Veterans Day. They let you play for free. You know, and we catch up. Me and Pat Broadhead, we catch up to this group. Two other guys, you can tell they're in the Army, you know, but they look cooler than us. So it's like they gotta be fucking pilots or something, right? So you know, we're like, hey, what do you do? It's like, oh, we're pilots. Like, I fucking knew it, you know. And I'm like, what's your call sign? So tell me if you heard this one before, Dave. Maybe Buddy did. Buddy, when we deployed when there was real Connecticut, everybody, he didn't do anything but salsa dance. But it's Red Wolf and White Wolf, right? And I'm like,
we had those in Samara, didn't we?
That's what I'm saying. I go. Wait, you're a Red Wolf pilot? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I got to go buy you a drink. Like, I have to go buy you a drink right now.
You saved my ass.
Saved your ass
multiple times.
And he's like, oh, where were you? I was like, I was in a little patrol base in Samara. They go, Olson? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you guys, fuck Jesus. He's like, we'd be flying missions like somewhere, and then, you know, we're about to go home and get steak dinners because that's what pilots do, you know. And he's like, all of a sudden,
they gotta get their snap time.
We're all excited to go get our surf and turf, and it's like, oh, troops in contact in Samara. All right, en route, you know. And then here they come. But it was super cool meeting them. Have you ever had any things like that when you got out where someone's like, hey, you flew me over here, or you were the Kiowa that was up over here? Because Kiowas we don't use them anymore, do we?
No, they're gone now.
Is that your fault?
I'll tell you a good story.
Is that your fault?
You have something to do with that?
Wait, when did you get out, Jimmy? When did you retire? What year did you retire?
2016.
Okay, snap. All right, gotcha.
So I've been telling this story doing keynote speeches all over the world, frankly, about a battle in the Waterpoor Valley in Afghanistan, and which we got 3 guys wounded, 1 gut shot, 1 through the hips, a fractured ankle. Became, I mean, just everything descend on this valley, bad situation. And we hoisted a medic in. Emmett Spractus from California, just a freaking hero. He went in. He did 5 hoist medevac missions in and out of that valley that day. But the kid who was gut shot, I mean, it was always, monitoring. Okay, how stable is he? We got to get him out of here. But we're, they own the high ground. We're pinned down. The whole deal. We got Kyle shot to crap that day. Got the hydraulic shot out of an Apache. And so anyway, we got this guy out. I've been telling this story about the complexity because we were shooting 105s out of Blessing. We were shooting 155s out of Asadabad, mortars out of Cop Hanukkah Miracle. We had A-10s in, and we're underflying all those guns to target.
There's a lot of shit going on. Yeah.
It was complex. There was a lot going on that day. No SeaTac on the ground, so it was Type 2. My pilots were doing all of the control of all of the drops and the artillery, and so December 20th, 21st of 2020, this past Christmas, I get a Facebook message, and the guy, it's a picture. The guy sends me a picture of a big bearded dude, a woman, and 3 little girls. And he said, "I finally found you." And I said, "What?" "I'm sorry, I don't know you." He goes, "I was the guy who was gut shot in the water pour. My name's Joshua Dow. The picture you see all happened after that battle.
Yeah, man.
And it's here because you got me out of that
Because
battle."
of you.
Dude.
Nice.
That made your day. Yeah.
Dude, I broke down for an hour and a half, and they were, I mean, just a mess. Dude, here's him, his wife, and his 3 little girls because of everything that took place over 8.5 hours in the Waterport Valley that day. Yeah.
What was your favorite unit that you were part of?
Well, so I mean, I came to the 101st for the invasion of Iraq, and I stayed there for 15 years.
Holy shit.
I stabilized my family. I was gone 6 out of 12 years, just turning. So I went there as a Squadron S3 for the invasion of Iraq, and I left after brigade command. So I just, guys wanted to take a knee. They wanted to go. I'm from North Georgia. This is, people here talk like we do. I mean, so, they understood us, and my family loved to hear. I'm like, this is a chance. Yeah, I'm going to be gone, but I can stabilize my family. My kids can have a hometown. And we just stayed in Clarksville, and I stayed in the 101st. So, yeah, I think, as far as I know, R.J. Lillybridge, who commanded the Rockasans, 3rd Brigade, the 101st, he was there, I think, 13 years, and I was 15. That's probably the most any officer has stayed consecutively at the 101st. So
I was gonna say you were probably there then when our old battalion commander, Colonel Wong, went to the 101st.
He commanded Rockasans.
Yeah, he was our BC in Samara.
Yeah, great dude. Yeah.
Oh, fucking phenomenal dude. Yeah.
And then is that also where you met old Antoine Dunmeyer?
Antoine Dunmeyer.
That's how I got a hold of you on LinkedIn. So he's the ARTB commander now. And he was in the 101st, so maybe you didn't know him, but
I'm sure I met him there.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, it's a long time. I mean, I spent so that rotation. I was there for Wanat, which chose in. I see that the 10th Mountain. What a freaking organization that had some tough fights. Chosen Battalion. That I was there for the Battle of Wanat. That was really a wake up call. I was there for PDSS, and we lost 9 guys. He was a specialist at the time. Became ultimately my Pathfinder platoon sergeant, and Chris McKay, and we became just really close friends. And that's all in my book Pale Horse, about the Battle of Wanat. And what I go over there on PDSS going, this is what the next year holds. And the Battle will not happen. And I'm like, whoa. And then of course I had Ganjigal, Keating. I mean, I was involved as the Aviation Task Force commander in the battles in which 5 medals of honor were earned. There have been 22 globally since 9/11.
Yeah, 173rd had like all of them. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned your book, Jimmy, and just for the audience, why don't you what got you to writing? Talk about your book a little bit. Tell the audience where they can find it and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm a storyteller. That's what
Go
I
for
do. I retired from the Army, and one of my son's friends, he asked me, he's like, "What's your dad do now?" He said he just talks. That's not true. That's about it. So I grew up at the knee of these old men telling stories, and we were dirt poor northern Georgia, and they could make you taste the blood in your mouth from a fist punch they received in a beer joint in 1950. I mean, they could tell these colorful stories, and I was always just mesmerized by them. And so I kind of grew up in this storytelling kind of. We didn't have internet, we didn't have cable TV, we didn't have air conditioner, we didn't have nothing. And we sat on the porch, and they drank white liquor and told stories. And so I grew up in that, and it just kind of worked for me. And so then after, all the experiences of 30 years in the Army, it was, okay, how do you put that to pen and write about it? And that was a learning process. The first book I wrote was called Southern Roots, about growing up dirt poor in the South. And as a regional publisher, did really well. And then I wrote Pale Horse first, which was 2008 to 10, the Afghanistan, with just a very somber story, but a lot of fighting. And I really wanted to write, and my wife had encouraged me to write about the invasion of Iraq, which is a funnier, it's cowboys and Indians. We'd never been to war. We're kind of making it up as we went. I mean, nobody knew. We're just raiding the Kufa Cola factory and taking 20 cases of Kufa Cola out, because it was just making it up as we went. So she's like, that's a better story. I'm like, yeah, but this one left a lot of scar tissue, 75 guys killed, and I don't even know how many wounded that year with the infantry brigade and us. And, I got a lot of pilots really shot up that year as well. And so I wrote Pale Horse, and I did it right. I got an agent. Macmillan was a publisher, and it was a bestseller. So that really opened a lot of doors to go and tell this story. And as I say in the end of that book, they were sons and daughters of mothers and fathers with PhDs and GEDs. They were red, black, white, yellow, Samoan, you name it. They were America's sons and daughters that were willing to go and say, "Here am I, send me." And their story deserves to be told. And so I wrote that for them, and I made sure I didn't pick really any battles I was involved in. I was in my talk. I did that on purpose. I wanted it to be about them. And I spent a lot of time telling about their backgrounds. We got turned down by about 6 or 8 major publishers because said too many characters, too much backstory. I'm like, that's the point. America deserves to hear about the kid from Buffalo, about the kid.
Yeah, I like that.
And so anyway, that opened a lot of doors. And then I wrote the third book was Cowboys Over Iraq, which was the invasion of Iraq. And again, it was in 2009 in Pale Horse as a squadron commander, I had more technological capability by 2009 than Dave Petraeus had at the division headquarters for the invasion of Iraq. We really pushed that capability down, which if you're an infantry company commander was a problem because now you got this capability. You don't have people, you don't have MTO to run it. Who's going to man all this stuff?
Yep.
Who's doing something with it? So anyway, talk a lot about that. And then, and so those 2 books were about Iraq and Afghanistan. And then all along I had told my agent, I want to write about Ranger School. There's nothing out there that gives the day-to-day, blow-by-blow of what it's like to go through Ranger School. And this is the most demanding Army, leadership course there is on the planet, in my opinion. And so he's like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, okay, you're not getting it. So I said, I'm just going to write it. I'll give you the manuscript. You tell me what you think. And I wrote it. And he's like, whoa. This is fun. This is good. So, of course, it's way lighter. I mean, MRHE stopped me up, and here I am on the raid for, rowing Zodiac out of Santa Rosa Island, and all I'm thinking, I got to take a crap, man.
Yeah. There's so many funny things happening in that school.
Oh, yeah. God. The patrol base Olsen deployment, if we could have just made it funny and made that movie, it would be absolutely fucking hysterical.
We still can, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, But yeah, you saw with then you started doing songs as well, right? And we talk about our mission here at Veteran Trash Talk as, you know, changing the narrative, which is a story, right? So how do we cultivate the narrative change to, you know, to say, hey, it's okay to talk about stuff. We're super excited because we did our UFC and NFL Pick'em show earlier today, and we had a guy come on the thread on Veteran Trash Talk and say, I'm not doing too well, you know, and it's like, this is a UFC show, bro. It's like, but you know, we stopped the show. It was like, and then one of our buddies, the Stone Vet, he does a podcast with us. He was on the platform and he was like, I got him, you know, and sent a text message to him. Those stories, everybody has a story, like you said. And again, everybody wants the sexy stuff. And as opposed to, you know, no, there's a lot of truth and heart behind this kid, like you said, from Buffalo. Like there's a lot of things about this kid that you can learn a lot, and they're not going to make a movie about it, but like, no, you need to hear this. Like you need to hear this kid's story. And we had Dan Blakely and the other author for the 20-Year War. And, you know, they kind of had the same thing to where, yeah, they had the cool guys in there, but they also did about 20 guys that, you know, who are they? But you should hear their story. So to the audience out there who's watching, we appreciate you watching. But again, like, tell your story. All right. Like, let people know, like, you know, if it's funny, it's funny. If you deal with your trauma with humor, like I like to do, right? Like that's something I'll do. I'll make a joke about it. Right. And then if you want to cry about it, that's where Joe comes in. He'll hug you, you know, and he'll cry with you. Right. You know, like it's just those kind of things. So, I do what I got to do. All right. I do what I got to do, Nick. Yeah. And we talked about this before the show that you weren't going to bring it up again. Yeah. Strike two.
So I have a buddy who I know through archery. I'm into primitive archery, so I make my own bow and arrows. I'm a big deer hunter, and
I'm pretty slick with a bow staff.
Yeah,
and nunchucks.
I use a sai. I prefer the sai.
What do you hunt with primitive bows and arrows? Like
everything.
Dinosaurs,
turkeys, deer, squirrels, rabbit, everything.
Bigfoot. Yeah.
Is that because you're so old that's just like what you normally had when you settled North Georgia?
Yeah.
You're
how did that land claim go? Did you have to go find a plot of land with a flag on it on a horseback and then you claimed it? Was that yours?
That's how I see it. Was Columbus as big a dick as everybody says it was when you guys were on that boat ride?
Heard that guy was a dick.
I had no idea.
I will say it is awful.
The old guy jokes were going to be this much.
It's awfully refreshing to have an older person on the show than I am. I usually get all the old person shit.
I'm an older.
But now I have a mustache, so it's just child molestation.
But Buddy's right next to you. Buddy's at Fort Campbell, so you can go beat him up right there.
But Buddy needs to get on his little bicycle and let's go for a ride. I'm gonna make his heart hurt. You know what, old guys? Here's what old guys enjoy.
Follow me on Peloton.
I'll make his heart hurt.
Old guys love it when they hear that sound that's so sweet to their ears. It's called.
That's how I pick my UFC.
I got a root fight. We'll do it.
So, like when we do those UFC picks, these guys are always talking about talent and shit. I look at their age. I'm like, that dude's like 36. He's gonna beat the shit out of that young guy.
Nick, pride is a terrible thing. It'll make grown men do things they shouldn't ought to do. Right.
But big shout outs to Clarksville. We got Preston Paris is out there, and he's got Clarksville Nutrition. So if you're into that,
I'm out there.
Yeah, Clarksville Nutrition.
Illinois.
It's not the same?
No, different. I literally have called Preston like 2 or 3 times on the phone, and he'll answer the phone and be like, Total Nutrition Clarksville. And I'm like, dude, you're in Clarksville right now?
No, he's got a shop here. I think a guy named Nick runs it, but he's in Fayetteville, right?
Yeah.
No. You're thinking of steers. Like,
he's thinking about that one dude that fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You think about Noah Steer.
He was right outside the Yakin Gate, right?
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Noah Steer's like Paris, but 6'6".
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's a big
Tall
cat.
of water, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk about your music a little bit. Are you going to give us a performance, or what are we going to do here?
No, so I write.
Yeah, get us a little something.
Yeah, give us a little something.
I met this dude
I'll
through
say
archery.
He went right
He's a
by
big
that.
guy. He's 6'6" as well. But he opened for Metallica in the early 90s. I mean, he was a rock singer living in LA and had some bad luck. Napster turned the music industry upside down. Multi-million-dollar contract. His record label went out of business.
Napster and Casa, right? Casa was the other one. Yeah, because
And so he went back to Arkansas. He's a crane operator, so he started doing that again. And he just said, "You know what? I'm going to Nashville, man. I'm leaving." And I knew him through archery. And he got here, and he would play around the campfire. And this freaking dude is unbelievable. And but he was just angry. I mean, he really had some issues. He got stomach cancer a few years ago, and he's young. He's y'all's age, and Buddy,
you're young. Look at that smile on Buddy's face. You just made his fucking day.
Yeah. So he woke up and said, "Man, I've been missing music," and he called me and said, "Hey, you want to write an album together, man? Let's do something. Let's tell your stories through music." And I said, "I thought you'd never ask." And so we started writing. We've written about 25 songs. We've got 2 albums done. We've released the first album. It's on Spotify, iTunes, everything. But it's a bit dark, I'll tell you. It really is.
I'll tell you, it's a bit dark.
What kind of music is it?
What's
11,
dark? Yeah.
11 Bravo is one that, it's the whole deal of, they taught me how to kill, shoot, move, communicate, the whole deal, and then they sent me out to find the enemy. But then I shot that dude and I watched him die. They didn't tell me how to deal with that. That felt different. And I try to, we got this stereotype, this, tire tool swinging, knuckle dragging, meathead, door kicking, Hollywood persona. And we're all human beings, as you mentioned. And if war doesn't affect you, then there's something bad wrong with you. It affects everyone. I don't care what, it doesn't know
100% agree.
Social and economic background. It doesn't know anything. It knows you're a freaking human being.
Yeah.
And, my surgeon was arguably the worst traumatized PTSD guy that I had. And that's why, he was pulling dudes on the back of a medevac with their legs blown off, their arms blown off. They died in his arms. And you think just because he's a doctor, well, that's what you deal with. Well, he's a human freaking being.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
We've actually talked about that on the show.
Yeah, we brought that up multiple times. Doesn't matter what MOS or
Doesn't matter what career you have.
Sure.
You don't have to be in the army.
No, you don't.
Like,
You can get walk outside and see a car accident and have PTSD from it. Yep. Yeah. But they want to tie PTSD to a military experience always. That's the whole thing about it.
Well, they want it like Dr. Gadd said, is like they want to make you disabled. The VA and the big pharma and policies want to say, no, you have PTSD, you're disabled. And it's like, well, no, what exactly about PTSD? What about PTSD do you have? Or you have anger problems? Do you have anxiety? Can you not sleep? Like, are you anxious? All whatever, and it's like, so, and those are the things you can now focus on and target. And Buddy brought it up last week about people making fun of, Kyle Rittenhouse crying, and people making fun of him. And it's like, maybe it was staged, maybe it wasn't, but either way, you're seeing that in this world that we're in now, where everybody has to be offended by something and everybody has to have an opinion on something. And I'm just as guilty. I like to talk about everything. So it's like you got to have an opinion on something. And now this case went to court, and the facts came out, and it is what it is. And we had a big discussion on it before, but this kid, whether he's right, wrong, in the right place, wrong place, doesn't fucking matter. All right. Something terrible happened to him. Right.
You got to see the results of what those bullets did in very graphic nature. I talked about that today with a couple guys. I didn't put it on social media, and I'm glad you brought it up because, we all like to carry, right? I mean, that's a big thing. I see people walking around in Tennessee. You do open carry, and that all feels good. You're a big guy. You got a big gun on your side and everything. And all of us know, but when you pull that thing, you better be ready to pull the trigger.
Oh yeah. And
when
if
you
I'm
pull
there to
the
do some
trigger-
harm, I'm taking you out first.
Yeah, but when you pull the trigger, whether he's the enemy or not, and you watch, dude, that's a different feeling. That's I don't care. I mean, I've killed people that were trying to kill me. In Cowboys Over Iraq, I talked about flying around these guys. We found a weapons cache, and this dude, you know, I came in with a rotor system and blew this blanket up, and there it was. And this dude was begging, just don't. I mean, please don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. And I'm like, I remember taking my M4 out the door, because we don't fly with doors on, and pointing it at him, trying to provoke him. I wanted him to shoot at me because I knew I was going to have to kill him. I didn't want it to be me just mowing him down. I mean, killing people ain't easy. And it sound, you know, you watch Hollywood, you get your concealed carry, and you walk around, you feel like Big Ike, and then you do it. There's a different side of that coin. I don't care how tough you think you are.
It's the hardest thing. And Nick talked about last episode, what causes his PTSD, you know, the issue driving and hitting that family that had a vehicle, you know, accidentally. Well, the brakes went out right on the Humvee. And
the accelerator was stuck.
Yeah. And my PTSD, everything stems from the first person that I shot. Well, Ogren shot him. He saw the pink mist. That's kind of an insider joke. But my son was born. I hadn't met him. I was in Iraq. And then I shot that guy very first time. And then literally we're eating MREs right next to him. Joe was there 5 minutes later because we cleared the objective.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts. I had Pop-Tarts with raspberry.
And this dude just laying there. And then ever since then, that's nightmares. That's my PTSD. I see the same dude.
I remember sitting there and thinking, this is the the weirdest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. And we're different now.
Yeah. And that fucked me up. And
I'm not ever gonna forget that.
I go to counseling for that, and I still have nightmares about kids growing up without a dad because of just the situation. My son was born. I had never met him. Now I shot somebody over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it changed me forever.
And it doesn't go away. And that's the thing. Some of these guys think, okay, can you compartmentalize that and tuck it away over here?
What you have to do is you have to notice that there's something wrong. You have to get help. And that's what it's all about, you know?
The answer to that
be a man about it.
Yeah,
correct.
Yes,
correct.
Yes, you can compartmentalize it, but what you're doing is tantamount to throwing a Band-Aid over a sucking chest wound.
Yeah.
Eventually, that compartmentalizing will need to be unpacked.
Yep.
It's there.
When it does, if you've ignored it that entire time, it's like a powder keg.
Yep.
But if you actually unpack it and talk about it and keep taking that Band-Aid off and not this, it eventually stops stinging as much. And you start to make sense of things. You can rationalize why it had to happen that way, and then you can find some kind of peace. And that's what I've always.
I think that's the best therapy is being an open book, like talking on this panel or just talking to the guys. Like even if a civilian asks me, "You ever kill somebody?" Yeah, sure, I'll tell you everything. Like I'm an open book about shit, and it feels good to talk about it instead of just keeping it in, you know. And
for me, 2008, 2009 in Afghanistan, every day was a knife fight. That didn't bother me as bad as Iraq, where you got blew up and no one was there.
Yep.
Rocket mortars, IEDs was a totally different psychological game. There is no one to fight. And I just happened to be a rocket magnet. And I had this Sarnackins work for me. And, you know, him, his girlfriend who was in the G2 and our commo guy smoking a cigarette. And I walked down I was going to do PT middle of the day. I changed, come out. And I heard this muffle on the horizon. I knew exactly what it was. It was a 107 launching. And I just had enough time to go, that was a rocket. It's coming this way. And I heard the motor go over my head. Landed between their feet. I mean, just blew me silly. You know, I mean, you can't hear, dust everywhere, rocks. We'd put gravel down. And so I finally, when I shook it off, I ran up there. I was the first one there. I'm like, where's everybody at? It landed. They were standing right here. They were gone. I couldn't find them. I kept looking around. I finally see some movement behind a Humvee about probably 25, 30 meters away. And I ran over there with Sarnackins. Gravel had been driven under his skin. It looked like cottage cheese, just lumps all under, bleeding out of his ears, his mouth, his nose. but he was alive. I couldn't find the other two. Search. Finally, both of them had been blown over a 20-foot T barrier. Both of them were dead. Our combo guy Gonzalez laying on his back, just eyes closed, not a mark on him. The girl blown to pieces. And so we take him to the cast. Sarnackins, kid from West Virginia, just a great dude. Everybody's going to see him. They care about him. Everybody liked him and everything. And I remember I went day 2, and I walked in and said, "How you doing, Sarnackins?" It was in the afternoon. He said, "Well, sir, could you ask them just to leave me alone for a while?" I said, "What do you mean, Sarnackins? Everybody wants to, they love you, man." He said, "I need to cry." Like, "What do you mean, Sarnackins?" He said, "They killed my girl." What we didn't know, he was engaged to this gal in the Jeep.
Oh, shit.
He had no idea. And they killed her. And so I went back that night. I'm going to tell you this. I'll go through it as quick as I can, Nick. But that night, I closed my eyes and I immediately was dreaming. I was driving by a reservoir. Mountain went up on the left, a guardrail on the right, and a big reservoir with probably a 200-meter waterfall behind it. I was in the passenger seat, an older man, gray-headed, who I didn't know was driving, and behind me was my 5-year-old son and my 3-year-old daughter behind the driver. As soon as I take all that in, we go through the guardrail off into the reservoir and start sinking. Of course, anxiety, your heart rate's up. I get out, I get to the back, I open the door, I get my son, I start swimming as hard as I can toward the shore, get close enough, I shoved him toward the bank, I turn around to go get my daughter, the car's gone. Start swimming, and I could just feel this pressure in my chest building. My heart rate's increasing. I'm swimming as hard as I can. I get where I think it's at. I start looking. I can't find anything. I keep looking in the water. And finally, I see something move down in the water. And I just stopped, like with my face in the water, and I see my daughter. And her arms and hands are kind of spread. Her eyes are closed. Her mouth was just a little bit open. I have a photographic memory. That's how I write these books. That's a blessing and a curse. She had an air bubble on her upper lip. I can see it like it was yesterday. That was 2005. She's floating with the current. So I start trying to dive and grab her. And I'm swimming as hard as I can, trying to grab her, but I can't quite reach her. We're floating with the current. We go over the waterfall, and I wake up soaking wet, heart rate 200. So I'm like, man, what in the world? Next night, I have the same dream again. I'm in Iraq. I was in Tikrit at the time, on the ground, not flying. Again, wake up the next night. I had that dream about a week, probably 7 to 10 days in a row. I went to the chaplain, who was a friend of mine. I'm like, dude, I can't sleep. I'm a freaking wreck. Every time I go to sleep, I have the same dream. I wake up, I told him. He said, it's normal. He said, look, you feel in control here. You feel like, bad things can happen, but you can influence the outcome. That stress is looking for a weakness, a vulnerability. Anything can happen to your family back home. There ain't a thing you can do about it. Right. So that's where it goes. I had that dream for over a year.
Yeah.
In 2014, I finally told my family.
Yeah, we are running under some time constraints right here. But we'll have you back on, and this time we'll get you the right Eastern time. No, they're in the chat thread. Mark here says, "I will not talk about my time over in the sandbox or brag about how many confirmed kills I have." I go, well, you kind of just did. Again, nobody's telling you to talk about it.
No.
All right. Nobody's saying you have to. All right. What we're saying is we got to change the narrative where it's okay to talk about it, and to where if somebody in your family or a civilian wants to know, all right, don't be an asshole to them. All right. You can, like Buddy said, set your boundary. Say, hey, I don't talk about those things, so I apologize. And that's cool. Right. And or say, yeah, if you really want to know about it, let's go get a 6-pack. All right. We're going to go sit down and you're going to hear about it. Right.
And for those that are still serving, we got to change that we're changing the stigma. We always talk about that. Like, you need to talk about this shit. Back in the day, I wouldn't have told anybody I see a counselor or I want to see a counselor because
you got flagged.
I would have gotten flagged.
Yeah.
I would have never made E8.
Yeah.
I would have been done being a squad leader, I hate comments like that. It's not about what we did. It's about how we did it.
It ain't about the number. It's about the fact that you went through that event and it's there.
Correct.
Period.
And if you're at peace with not talking about it, great. that
Great.
works
That's
for
like I
you.
said,
That's
fine.
not, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that's the fucking standard. That means that works for you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. But hey, great show. Thanks, Jimmy. We'll have you on again,
thanks, Jimmy.
for sure.
Yeah,
And
we
then,
need to.
We'll get more into it.
Sorry, guys. I'm tracking too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll when we share
at
this
least we
video,
got you.
I'll share
That mission was definitely failed right there.
I'll share the script where it says 1400 Eastern time with it as well. But no,
Rangers no go.
no, I'm glad you showed up and glad we had this conversation because again, there's somebody listening that even Mark making that it's he said absolutely right. Thanks, brother. It's like yeah, like that's it. Like we just here to help. All right. And I might not have the answer for you. Joe might not have the answer for you. But when our community's at 32,000 and it's going to be over 1 million someday, somebody in that community is going to have the answer. Someone's going to be like, hey, yeah, I was there. Like, no, I was in Wanat, and who knows, maybe somebody listening right now was. And so I guarantee you that I know I saw some people commenting and liking and loving when you were showing the stuff, but absolutely, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And Dave, if you want to close this
Yeah,
out.
I was going to give Jimmy the last words. Yeah, Jimmy, just again, your books, where we can find them. Any websites, any links, anything that you want to push out to our community.
If you Google Jimmy Blackmon, you'll find out more than you ever wanted to know about me. They're all on Amazon, all that other stuff. But let me take my time to say thanks for what you guys are doing. Look, I'm on the board of directors of the 101st Association. We took 20 veterans, about half Vietnam veterans, half modern day veterans, out to Colorado to a ranch. We went trout fishing, we went hiking, we went mountain biking, and at night we sat around the fire and sang songs and told our stories. Some guys cried, some guys didn't, but the bottom line is exactly what you guys are saying. It was medicinal, man. Just a bunch of, and they were males, females. I mean, everybody just telling their story and talking, and we've got to make that okay. I got a counselor too, man.
Yeah.
And, I have good days and I have bad days. And
the more people that say it's okay, we'll make it okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Jimmy. And Richard just said in the chat, he said, I look forward to this show every Saturday. It helped me again, as usual.
Great.
Thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thanks to everybody that was watching.
Well, we have
to
brag real quick before you close this out.
Yeah.
So again, I got an email and I put it on the page so you guys can see it. But we had Will Cannon on, who's CEO of the Iron Freedom Foundation.
Amazing organization
in Midland, Texas. And somebody's like, hey, I was backtracking through veteran trash talk episodes and ran into you and to that episode. Here's a check. Right. So he got a nice fat check. We're not going to say the name or how much it was, but he got a nice fat check. And like I said, that's what we're all about. This community will eventually get big enough to where we don't have to rely on policies of the VA. Like that's the goal. So yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, great stuff. Hey, for everybody that's tuned in, check out veterantrashtalk.com. All right. It has the links to all of our websites, Spotify, Apple Music, shop.veterantrashtalk. All right. That has all of our merch. All right. Quit being a triggered pansy. All right. It's not political. Okay. Anybody can wear this shirt. Keep calm, lay down, suppress a fire. That's one of my favorites as well. And then part of the proceeds go to Stop Soldier Suicide. And I think that's about it. Happy Saturday. We'll catch you guys next week.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jimmy.
guys.